Action Surge is one of the most versatile and cool things that a character can do in Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of why a lot of people even multi-class 2 levels of fighter, basically just for Action Surge alone. And today, we're going to talk about how you can get the most out of Action Surge in your games.
It's like a little blue pill for fighters in combat. Hey everybody, welcome back to JNJtabletop. We're happy to have you here again, and I'm happy to talk about one of my favorite features about one of my favorite classes. Really, Action Surge is just one of the coolest things that the fighter class has to offer, and fighters have a whole lot to offer. And I think we did a whole video on that, so check that out if you want to just hear us talk all about everything we love about fighters. So before we get into how you could get the most out of Action Surge, let's just start off by saying, what is Action Surge? Starting at second level, you can push yourself beyond your normal limits for a moment. On your turn, you can take one additional action. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you could use it again. Starting at 17th level, you can use it twice before a rest, but only once on the same turn.
Right from that description, I mean, the entire combat economy is based off of actions. It's everything your character can do, and you only normally get one. And here, clearly, you have two. So let's talk about how you can get the most out of it. And it really, since you can only ever use, until you're a really high level character, you can only ever use one of these per fight. It's really the timing that matters most.
So one of the best times to use it would be if you have some sort of big target that you have advantage to hit. Like if you have advantage, you want to get as many hits in as possible on there. You know, whatever granted you advantage, that doesn't matter. That's not part of this conversation. But you want to go all out and you want to get as many hits in as you can. So this would be your moment to Action Surge, obviously, but also like maybe use Great Weapon Master or Sharpshooter or whatever you need to use to just give yourself, like you said, you're like, hey, I have multiple opportunities to hit this thing. If I'm going to hit that, I'm going to hit it good and as hard as possible.
Well said, Josh. Another way you can get the most out of Action Surge is if you want to go fast. You can actually use the additional action to dash again. So we have a very good example of this in our Ancient Relics and Hokey Religions game. I believe it's episode 3, but Vale needed to swipe the idol, and because he also is an Eladrin, he has access to Misty Step, so he was able to use his move. He bonus action Misty Stepped, dashed with his first action, dashed with his second action, and he traveled 120 feet in one turn. He's like a level 2 fighter. Which is,
I forgot about that.
It was incredidible. I remember I got so nervous when you were like describing the way it happened, and you wanted to make it more cinematic by he reaches out to grab me. I'm like, no, I Misty Step there. I'm not. You're like, I got you, Jake.
But I remember the conversation beforehand too. They were like, well, like Echo's probably the fastest, and this person, like whatever, and you were just like, I'll be all right.
Actually.
And then they saw
this
and
will
they were
change.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, this will change because you're a monk, but right now I'm the fastest.
Yeah.
That actually also makes me think of another instance that you can get the most out of it, and that's as a spellcaster. If you want to cast an additional leveled spell in one turn, you can use your Action Surge to do that. So normally you can only do that once, because if you do that, you have to use a cantrip or whatever if you want to cast another spell. You want to double fireball, you want to double disintegrate, whatever you could think of, that's an option with Action Surge. And if you're a wizard or a sorcerer, it's not the craziest thought to take 2 levels in fighter if you want to be able to do some weird things on your turn.
Yeah, being able to use another leveled spell is actually like, it almost feels like you're breaking the game, and that's a really cool thing to be able to do. Of course, it comes at a cost, but you know.
It's like the Muscle Wizard's Metamagic.
That's exactly what it is. But another good opportunity for you to use Action Surge would be like if you know that you're about to take a rest, like you're in this one combat and you're like, it's nighttime, we already got to where we wanted to go. We're just clearing it out. Like, I know we're gonna just like, we're just gonna take a little nap after this. Well, if you know you're gonna take a rest, pick a time and use your action surge because extra attacks are never a bad thing. They just aren't. And I would also just say as our next point, don't ever let the sun go down on an action surge.
Mm,
And even more importantly, don't die without using action surge.
yikes.
If you die in a D&D game, you're gonna run through that combat in your head. You're gonna be like, what could I have done differently? And if you're a fighter and you died with action surge available to you, that's going to be the first thing that you're like, well, I shouldn't have been standing there or whatever. It'd be like, well, I could have used my action surge to dodge, disengage, dash, extra attack, whatever. Any of those things you could have used it for. It's like when you're playing Destiny and you have your super and you're like, I don't want to waste it. I just don't want to. I don't want to waste it. So I'm just gonna hold on to it for forever. And like other people have used their supers like 6 times, and you're like, I'm keeping mine just in case. you know?
It's very interesting because I like looking at the differences between fighters and barbarians, where a barbarian is just a reckless bowling ball, just going right for the enemy. Knowing when this kind of a situation happens is very similar to where the fighter is just paying attention to what everybody else can do. It'd be like, you know what? I know the druid sometimes casts fairy fire and grants advantage, but I also know they're out of spell slots, so I don't want to wait for that to happen. Or whatever the case may be. And that is something that a fighter would like be different than some of the other martial classes. And I think, you know, don't die with it. Like don't wait for the perfect opportunity if you need it now. And you
Yeah.
brought up a really, really good point, Josh. I never ever even had the thought to use my action surge to take the dodge action. If you are surrounded by like a ton of heavy hitting things, that is not a waste of the action surge to just dodge and be like, oh crap, I know help's coming, but I need to survive.
Maybe you don't have a bunch of people standing around you, but if there's a bunch of ranged attacks that are about to come your way the
Ooh,
next round,
oh
just
yeah.
just dodge, just dodge.
Hmm. So we'd love to know what it is that you look for when you're deciding to use your action surge. And I don't know about you, Josh, but I'd love to hear about some great hero moments using action surge in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, hit the like button, subscribe button, all those fun things so that you know when we're making more videos. So with that, we thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a great day. We love you. Take care.
It's like a halftime at your little league game, and someone's mom just brought over the orange slices. It's like a Wi-Fi range extender, like one of those birthday candles that when you try to blow them out, they stay lit.
Uh, well said, Josh. Another reason why you might want to get the most out of your action surge is, like the words of Ricky Bobby, you want to go fast. You can take an extra dash action, and we have an example of this in our Ancient Relic